Hello everyone and welcome to Exam Heist. In this video, we will be covering some important questions and important topics of the AI 102 exam. You can download the complete PDF of this video and our other practice questions through the link down in the description. We at Exam Heist have more than 30 plus certifications and are here to help you achieve your certification goals. We will try to answer all your doubts related to the AI 102 exam, such as the exam does have hands on, lab, and simulation type questions. There are also case studies in the exam. The exam duration is around 40 to 60 questions that you have to answer in 120 minutes. The minimum passing score is 700 out of 1000. There is no negative marking in the exam. The certification will be valid for an year after you earn it. To renew the certification, you have to recertify. This is a tutorial video that has some practice questions for the AI 102 exam. We will be covering these topics in this video. However, these are not all the topics that will be covered in the exam. As such, we will be publishing more parts to the series, so please make sure to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified about our future videos. To the first topic, private link. What is Azure Private Link? It enables you to access Azure's platform as a service services and Azure hosted customer owned slash partner services over a private endpoint in your virtual network. Traffic between your virtual network and the service travels the Microsoft backbone network. Exposing your service to the public internet is no longer necessary. You can create your own private link service in your virtual network and deliver it to your customers. Setup and consumption using Azure Private Link is consistent across Azure Platform as a Service, customer owned, and shared partner services. About the key benefits of the service, we can privately access services on the Azure platform. Connect your virtual network using private endpoints to all services that can be used as application components in Azure. Service providers can render their services in their own virtual network, and consumers can access those services in their local virtual network. The private link platform will handle the connectivity between the consumer and services over the Azure backbone network. On-premises and peered network. Access services running in Azure from on-premises over ExpressRoute private peering, VPN tunnels, and peered virtual networks using private endpoints. There is no need to configure ExpressRoute Microsoft peering or traverse the internet to reach the service. Private Link provides a secure way to migrate workloads to Azure. Protection against data leakage. A private endpoint is mapped to an instance of a platform as a service resource instead of the entire service. Consumers can only connect to the specific resource. Access to any other resource in the service is blocked. This mechanism provides protection against data leakage risks. Global reach. Connect privately to services running in other regions. The consumer's virtual network could be in region A and it can connect to services behind private link in region B. Extend to your own services. Enable the same experience and functionality to render your service privately to consumers in Azure. By placing your service behind a standard Azure load balancer, you can enable it for private link. The consumer can then connect directly to your service using a private endpoint in their own virtual network. You can manage the connection requests using an approval call flow. Azure Private Link works for consumers and services belonging to different Microsoft Entra tenants. What is the private endpoint? Private endpoint is a network interface that uses a private IP address from your virtual network. This network interface connects you privately and securely to a service that is powered by Azure Private Link. By enabling a private endpoint, you are bringing the service into your virtual network. The service could be an Azure service such as Azure Storage, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure SQL Database, your own service using private link service. To the questions related to the same topic, first, please note that the questions from 1 to 4 are a part of a series of multiple questions that present the same scenarios. Each question in the series contains a unique solution that might meet the stated goals. Some question sets might have more than one correct solution, while others might not have a correct solution. After you answer a question in this section, you will not be able to return to it. As a result, these questions will not appear in the review screen. Question 1. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure cognitive search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution. You deploy Service1 and a private endpoint to VNet1. Does this meet the goal? Here, in this question, we are trying to connect App1 directly to Service1 without touching the public internet. As such, using a private endpoint is indeed the correct option. Thus, the correct option is A. Yes. A private endpoint is a network interface that uses a private IP address from your virtual network. This network interface connects you privately and securely to a service powered by Azure Private Link. By enabling a private endpoint, you are bringing the service into your virtual network. The service could be an Azure service such as Azure Storage, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure SQL Database, your own service using a private link service. Question 2. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure cognitive search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution. You deploy Service1 and a public endpoint to a new virtual network, and you configure Azure Private Link. Does this meet the goal? This solution is not suitable for this scenario as we are using a public endpoint. We need to use a private endpoint. As such, the correct option is B. No. Answer is no. You should create a private link with private endpoint. The Azure private link should use a private endpoint, not a public endpoint. Private link service can be accessed from approved private endpoints in any public region. Question 3. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure cognitive search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution. You deploy Service 1 and a public endpoint, and you configure an IP firewall rule. Does this meet the goal? There is no use of configuring an IP firewall rule as we are again using a public endpoint. As such, this solution is not suitable. Thus, the correct option is B. No. This scenario routes over public internet. To do this without touching public internet, you would use a private endpoint on a VNet, then private link to access it. Instead, deploy Service 1 and a private endpoint to a new virtual network, and you configure Azure private link. Question 4. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure cognitive search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution. You deploy Service 1 and a public endpoint, and you configure a network security group for VNet 1. Does this meet the goal? Again, in this solution, we are using a public endpoint. Without a private endpoint, this solution is not suitable. Thus, the correct option is B. No. To the next topic, Azure AI Search. What is Azure AI Search? Azure AI Search, formerly known as Azure Cognitive Search, provides secure information retrieval at scale over user owned content in traditional and generative AI search applications. Information retrieval is foundational to any app that surfaces text and vectors. Common scenarios include catalog or document search, data exploration, and increasingly feeding query results to prompts based on your proprietary grounding data for conversational and copilot search. When you create a search service, you work with the following capabilities: a search engine for vector search and full text and hybrid search over a search index, rich indexing with integrated data chunking and vectorization, lexical analysis for text, and optional applied AI for content extraction and transformation, rich query syntax for vector queries, text search, hybrid queries, fuzzy search, autocomplete, geo search, and others. Azure Scale, Security, and Reach. Azure Integration at the data layer, machine learning layer, Azure AI Services, and Azure OpenAI. About attaching an Azure AI multi-service resource to a skill set in Azure AI Search. When configuring an optional AI enrichment pipeline in Azure AI Search, you can enrich a limited number of documents free of charge. For larger and more frequent workloads, you should attach a billable Azure AI multi-service resource. A multi-service resource references a set of Azure AI services as the offering rather than individual services with access granted through a single API key. This key is specified in a skill set and allows Microsoft to charge you for using these services. First, Azure AI Vision for image analysis and OCR. Second is Azure AI Language for language detection, entity recognition, sentiment analysis, and key phrase extraction. Third is Azure AI Speech for speech to text and text to speech. And then the last one is Azure AI Translator for machine text translation. To the questions related to the same topic, question 5. You have an Azure subscription that contains an AI enrichment pipeline in Azure Cognitive Search and an Azure storage account that has 10 GB of scanned documents and images. You need to index the documents and images in the storage account. The solution must minimize how long it takes to build the index. What should you do? Here, we want to build an index while minimizing the time it takes to do so. As such, configuring parallel indexing is a good option. Thus, the correct option is A. From the Azure portal, configure parallel indexing. If you partition your data, you can create multiple indexer data source combinations that pull from each data source and write to the same search index. Because each indexer is distinct, you can run them at the same time, populating a search index more quickly than if you ran them sequentially. Question 6. You have a collection of 50,000 scanned documents that contain text. You plan to make the text available through Azure Cognitive Search. You need to configure an enrichment pipeline to perform optical character recognition and text analytics. The solution must minimize costs. What should you attach to the skill set? What we need is a new cognitive service resource while minimizing the cost. As such, a new cognitive service resource that uses the S0 pricing tier. Thus, the correct option is D. When configuring an optional AI enrichment pipeline in Azure Cognitive Search, you can enrich a limited number of documents free of charge. For larger and more frequent workloads, you should attach a billable multi service cognitive services resource. A multi service resource references cognitive services as the offering rather than individual services with access granted through a single API key. This key is specified in the skill set and allows Microsoft to charge you for using these APIs. Computer vision for image analysis and optical character recognition, language services for language detection, entity recognition, sentiment analysis, and key phrase extraction, translator for machine text translation. Question 7. You have an Azure Cognitive Search instance that indexes purchase orders by using Form Recognizer. You need to analyze the extracted information by using Microsoft Power BI. The solution must minimize development effort. What should you add to the indexer? Here, we want to analyze the information by using Microsoft Power BI and also minimize development effort. As such, a table projection is a good option. Thus, the correct option is B. To analyze the extracted information from the Azure Cognitive Search Index with Microsoft Power BI, You should add a table projection to the indexing. This will allow you to present the data in a tabular format that can be easily imported and analyzed by Power BI with minimal development effort. To the next topic, responsible and trusted AI. What is a responsible and trusted AI? Microsoft outlines six key principles for responsible AI. Those are accountability, inclusiveness, reliability and safety, fairness, transparency, and piracy and security. These principles are essential to creating responsible and trustworthy AI as it moves into mainstream products and services. They are guided by two perspectives. First is ethical. From an ethical perspective, AI should be fair and inclusive in its associations, be accountable for its decisions, not discriminate or hinder different races, disabilities, or backgrounds. Second is explainable. Explainability helps data scientists, auditors, and business decision makers ensure that AI systems can justify their decisions and how they reach their conclusions. Explainability also helps ensure compliance with company policies, industry standards, and government regulations. About all the principles in detail, first is accountability. It is an essential pillar of responsible AI. The people who design and deploy an AI system need to be accountable for its actions and decisions, especially as we progress towards a more autonomous system. Second is inclusiveness. Inclusiveness mandates that AI should consider all human races and experiences. Inclusive design practices can help developers understand and address potential barriers that could unintentionally exclude people. Where possible, organizations should use speech to text, text to speech, and visual recognition technology to empower people who have hearing, visual, and other impairments. Third is fairness. Fairness is a core ethical principle that all humans aim to understand and apply. This principle is even more important when AI systems are being developed. Key checks and balances need to make sure that the system's decisions don't discriminate against or express a bias toward a group or individual based on gender, race, sexual orientation, or religion. Fourth is reliability and safety. For AI systems to be trusted, they need to be reliable and safe. It is important for a system to perform as it was originally designed and to respond safely to new situations. Its inherent resilience should resist intended or unintended manipulation. Fifth is transparency. Achieving transparency helps the team understand the data and algorithms that were used to train the model, the transformation logic that was applied to the data, the final model that was generated, the model's associated assets. Sixth is privacy and security. A data holder is obligated to protect the data in an AI system. Privacy and security are an integral part of the system. Personal data needs to be secure and access to it shouldn't compromise an individual's privacy. To the questions related to the same topic, question 8. You are developing a new sales system that will process the video and text from a public facing website. You plan to monitor the sales system to ensure that it provides equitable results regardless of the user's location or background. Which two responsible AI principles provide guidance to meet the monitoring requirements? Here in this question, the requirement is that our system provides equitable results regardless of the user's location or his or her background. These requirements are covered in the principles of fairness and inclusiveness. Thus, the correct option is B and C. Fairness is a core ethical principle that all humans aim to understand and apply. This principle is even more important when AI systems are being developed. Key checks and balances need to make sure that the system's decisions don't discriminate or run a gender, race, sexual orientation, or religion bias towards a group or individual. Inclusiveness mandates that AI should consider all human races and experiences, and inclusive design practices can help developers to understand and address potential barriers that could unintentionally exclude people. Where possible, speech to text, text to speech, and visual recognition technology should be used to empower people with hearing, visual, and other impairments. Question 9. You are developing a new sales system that will process the video and text from a public facing website. You plan to notify users that their data has been processed by the sales system. Which responsible AI principle does this help meet? Here, what we are trying to do is to intimate the user that their data has been processed or used by the sales system. This is covered in the principle of transparency. Thus, the correct option is A. When an AI application relies on personal data, such as a facial recognition system that takes images of people to recognize them, you should make it clear to the user how their data is used and retained, and who has access to it. Question 10. You are building an AI solution that will use sentiment analysis results from surveys to calculate bonuses for customer service staff. You need to ensure that the solution meets the Microsoft Responsible AI principles. What should you do? Here, giving an AI solution power over a decision that affects the financial situation of the staff is not a good idea. As such, we should add a human review and approval step before making decisions that affect the staff's financial situation. Thus, the correct option is A. This option aligns with the responsible AI principle of fairness and accountability. By adding a human review and approval step, you ensure that the decisions affecting staff bonuses are reviewed by humans who can consider factors beyond just the sentiment analysis result. It adds an element of transparency, accountability, and fairness to the process, reducing the risk of biased or unfair decision. These were all the questions for this video. You can find the complete PDF of this video and our practice questions through the link down in the description. We will be uploading more parts to this series with more topics in the future. So please make sure to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.